Millions of people saw their tax refund delayed last year. Is the same thing going to happen again this year? Let's hope not. I'll get into it coming up. My name is Mike Bernard. I'm the host of the Wise Money Show. I'm also one of the certified financial planners right here at Korhorn Financial Group. Make sure you hit that subscribe button, turn on notifications, and smash that thumbs up button. So get this. At the exact time we're trying to stimulate the economy and actually paid out another stimulus and another $1 trillion of stimulus, but paying out direct checks to people last tax season, the IRS was so gunked up, millions of people saw their refund delayed. Like that seems insane, right? That we're trying to get people to spend money and help them stay afloat during the economic collapse and shutdown. So much so that we're willing to borrow money from our future selves to just give it to people and say, hey, here you go, spend it or help this tide you over. But our tax system and refund system was so screwed up, we couldn't even get people back the money that they were due. The refunds, the excess money that they'd paid in taxes, that was legally theirs, we couldn't even get that back to them timely. People are still waiting on their tax refunds from 2020. This is insane, guys. All right, so anyway, what were the causes for those delays? Delays like I've never seen in my 20-year career. And when will you get your refund for this year? Is it going to be more timely, or should we expect delays again? We'll take a look at this historical chart here applied to 2022. This is based on historical trends of when the IRS should be dispersing refunds based on when you electronically filed your return. Take a look at this chart. This is based on data from the IRS that a CPA group compiled. And so check it out. If you have a signed e-file that is accepted by the IRS on a particular day, it shows you when you should expect your refund to be electronically deposited or a check to be mailed out to you. Now, about 10 days, which is what I'd always told people ever since we shifted to fully e-filing back almost 15 years ago, something like that. That's typically been the case. And so no surprise that this CPA firm would come out and say, yeah, this really should be the schedule. The IRS has come out and said, yes, we have enhanced our system. We're going to be able to send refunds faster, and it should be much closer to what you've expected. That's good news. The bad news is, if you look at the reasons why the refunds were delayed last year, and whether those circumstances existed for tax year 2021, same thing existed, right? And if you look at this article here from Yahoo Finance, you'll see that there's some asterisks in here as far as, well, if these are your circumstances, your refund could be delayed. Guys, the biggest culprit for tax refunds being delayed for 2020, for your 2021, the refund that you would have received in 2021, the big reason for that is stimulus payments paid out in advance, and then you have to reconcile it on your tax refund or on your tax return to basically say, hey, I only got a partial, or this is what I only got, and therefore I need to get the rest of it on my tax return. That reconciling all of that was just disastrous for the IRS. They couldn't do it. They couldn't keep up with it, and so that's what caused a lot of the delays last year. The majority of the delays were because of that. Well, good thing we're not going to have that in 2021. Oh yeah, we did. We had an economic stimulus payment, an economic impact payment paid in March or April of 2021. We're going to have the exact same thing, right? Where if you received it, fantastic. But if you only received a partial, then when you file your tax return, maybe you're eligible for the rest of it. If you didn't receive any of it, okay, when you file your tax return, you might be eligible for it. If you had a child in 2021, like I did a video on yesterday, if you had a child in 2021, you may be eligible for their stimulus when you file your taxes. Guys, this is going to be the same issue. The same thing that caused all the delays. We're going to have those again this year. Let's just hope that the IRS does have a more sophisticated system, more efficient system to confirm that. Because I get it. There's lots of people that could try and defraud the IRS because of this, saying, oh, no, on my honor, I never got a stimulus, so therefore I get this tax credit, when they actually did, right? I get it. It's an impossible situation. by the IRS. However, it's also idiotic to approve the borrowing of trillions of dollars to give people money to spend, but have a system that delays getting people the refund that they're due. Okay, so let's hope that those refunds are actually accelerated and improved this year. But I have my doubts, because not only were stimulus payments paid out in advance, which are tax credits paid out in advance that need to be reconciled when you do your return, so were child tax credits. I've talked about this a ton of times. This was a disastrous system. Now, I get it, and it likely did benefit a lot of people that were financially living closer to the edge or didn't have as much resources, let's say, than receiving that child tax credit in advance, monthly, starting in July. Fantastic. I'm sure that helped them. However, it's a tax credit. It's a tax credit that you're supposed to get on your tax return that was paid out to you in advance. What if they sent you some money, but it wasn't the right amount, and you've got to file a tax return showing, yeah, I know you sent me this amount, but I didn't receive that amount, therefore I get a bigger tax credit. Guys, it's going to be a disaster. What about for those folks that receive some child tax credit, but when they file their tax return, they're not eligible for it, and they've got to pay it back? Guys, that same issue of tax credits or monies being sent out that then need to be reconciled on the tax return, again, that's what happened with the stimulus. That's what caused the delays in the refunds. We've got that with stimulus for this past year. We've got that for child tax credits this past year. So I'm hopeful that the system will be better. I am doubtful, though. So what can you do about it? First thing I would do is suggest that you file early, okay? It's gonna pay to be organized this year, okay? If you can get your tax documents organized, hopefully, it's February now, hopefully you've got all your documents or you've got most of your documents. You might still be waiting on a 1099 or maybe a K1 or to get a business return done, something like that. But if you still have some stuff, then gather everything else. If you're still waiting on some stuff, gather everything else. If you think you've got everything, get started, work with your CFP and your CPA, get them their documents and have them get started on your return. It will pay to be early this year, okay? Second, make sure you're filing an accurate tax return. I always say that each year when you do your taxes, you've got to ask 3 questions. And the first one is this an accurate tax return? You've got to go back through, and I know it's geeky, but before you file, before you hit submit, you've got to go back through and say, yep, that's the wages I earned from my job. Yep, I had that dividend. Yep, I have those capital gains. Here's my Social Security. Yep, that all looks right? You've got to do that double check to make sure you've got an accurate return. Any inconsistencies will slow down your tax return, okay, your tax refund. Anything that's off or miscalculated is going to slow it down. So do that double check. By the way, so that's the first question. Second question is there anything I can do right now to improve my tax situation? Okay, is there anything you can do right now to improve your tax refund? Yeah, you got to consider that. And then finally, is there anything that's changing in my taxes for this upcoming year that I need to act on right now? Those are those 3 questions, okay? But certainly take a look and make sure there aren't any errors or mistakes in your tax return. And then the last suggestion that I would tell you to hopefully expedite your refund is really just to track it. Once you file your tax return, make sure it's accepted. Your e-file is accepted. Once it's accepted, you can go to the IRS website, the Where's My Refund tab, and just track your refund. Make sure that everything's appropriate and there aren't any issues, okay? So I've got that link down below as well, plus showing you on the screen here. A lot of people use that Where's My Refund. I know I did because my refund was delayed. No, I owed last year. That's right. I was using it for clients all the time, double checking on where's the return, are things in good standing, whatever. And it was helpful, okay? It doesn't give you all the answers, but it was helpful to track your return along the way. And so I would encourage you to do that as well. Work with your CFP. Make sure you've got a plan for your taxes. That's the most important thing. Make sure that you're not paying more tax than you ought to. Make sure you're identifying all opportunities to improve your tax situation, taking advantage of the right ones, and avoiding surprises. Work with your CFP on that. If you don't have a CFP on your team, you can contact one on my team. Find us online, Korhorn.com. That's Korhorn with a K. WiseMoneyShow.com. You can find us there as well, or give us a call, 574-247-5898. All right, there you have it. Go out and take your next wise step in your financial life.